Lesson 4 over tobacco, um, and we're going to be talking about the decision making when it comes to tobacco, because I feel like this is something that we really like. The decision making process is really something that we need to discuss and talk about when it comes to life altering decisions. And the use of tobacco or the non use of tobacco is something that I feel like is a big time decision, because tobacco is so detrimental to our lives. I mean, it shortens your lifespan. Um, don't really know if people honestly believe that, but it's true. Not only does it shorten your life, but it shortens the years that you have where you have a quality of life, where you have a good quality of life. And so, this is Coach Isaac coming at you from Secondary Methods with Dr. Wong. Let's go ahead and get started. So, our pre-assessment today. What decisions have you made today? You wake up and you decide whether or not to eat breakfast. If you do nothing all day, I mean, because a lot of us, we don't have to go to class anymore. Most people just sit at home all day. So now you have to decide, do I even want to shower today? Some people don't. I mean, and that's cool. Some people shower at night. Some people shower in the morning. Some people don't shower when it comes to staying at home literally for days on end. What kind of decisions have you made today? What did you eat for lunch? What did you wear today? Did you go out? I mean, did you want to dress up for anything? What kind of decisions and what decisions have you made today? And with that, take a minute or two to think of the problem or the scenario in which you have made a decision, and then not only of the decision that you made, but also of the decisions that you could have made. You wake up. Good example. You decide whether or not to eat breakfast. If you decide to eat breakfast, then what did you eat? Okay. Did you eat a bowl of cereal? If you ate a bowl of cereal, what kind of cereal? Did you make biscuits and gravy? Did you use white gravy, brown gravy, or like chocolate gravy? Did you make like the instant pre-made biscuits that just go in the oven? Did you make your biscuits from scratch? I mean, those are all kinds of decisions that you could have made. Say if you just ate a bowl of Cheerios. All that other stuff, I mean, that's pretty simple. Bowl of Cheerios, easy. But there's all kinds of other decisions that you could have made. Maybe one wasn't as healthy. Maybe one was pretty healthy. I mean, some people get up and they just eat snack cakes. Some people don't have the best of breakfasts. Sorry. Some people just don't make the most healthiest decisions. So you also have to think of all the decisions that you could make, not only the one that you do make. So, moving on, there are risks with every decision that we make. But what actually is a risk? So what I want to start with now is I want you to use the pre-assessment that we've just started on, and I want you to define risk in your own personal opinion. Once you have defined risk in your own personal opinion, what I would like you to go deeper into the problem or the scenario in which you made a decision today that you chose. Were there any risks involved with that decision? If so, write all of them down. Write down all the risks that could have come with your decision. If I decided to if I decided not to shower today, well, I probably wouldn't smell very good. I wouldn't feel very clean, first of all. The clothes that I would wear would instantly be dirty and need to be washed. If I decided to eat snack cakes. You know, I mean, that's not healthy for my teeth. If I wanted to just eat snack cakes and drink soda all day, it's not very healthy for my teeth. It's not very healthy for my body. Those are the risks at hand. It's not very healthy. So, if you have any kind of risks that came along with your decision or some of the decisions, and you can even use some of the decisions that you could have made for this purpose to write down some risks. Go ahead and write those down, and this will help us kind of relate all of this to tobacco towards the end of the lesson once we get there. But before we get towards that part, Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines the term risk as the possibility of loss or injury, or someone or something that creates or suggests a hazard. So if a person's driving 90 miles an hour down the highway in a 55-mile-an-hour speed zone, they are putting not only themselves, but others as well at the possibility of loss or injury. They are a risk. They are a risk to each and every person on the road. So when it comes to tobacco use, tobacco can cause so many health issues, not only for the person using it, but say for cigarettes, for example. People that inhale the secondhand smoke are sometimes or even at higher risks for some of the health effects than the person smoking the cigarettes. And that is truth. A lot of studies have proven that. And here we get a little bit of a glimpse of this guy going across the tightrope. I just hope whatever he's going across the canyon for is worth it, because you would not catch me at any kind of height where I would maybe fall and splat like a bug on the windshield. Deathly terrified of heights. I would never, ever, 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 ever take a risk like that. That is just me. I don't appreciate the heights. They freak me out. So now we get into the great decision-making model. And we're going to break this down into its 5 components, and we're going to discuss each one, and then we'll have a little worksheet at the end of the lesson where you can actually practice applying each component into a scenario given on the worksheet. So, our first component is to give thought to the decision or problem. Think about it. Don't make a hasty decision. Think about it. Take some time, make an educated decision. We are all smart individuals. Every human being is equipped with a decision-making process, a brain. Use your brain. Now, that doesn't mean you have to make the right decision each and every time. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is give it thought. We are human, and we're all gonna make mistakes. But just make sure that the mistake you don't make is making a hasty decision. Give it thought. Take some time. Really think it through. And then next we have review all of your options. And this kind of ties into giving it thought. If you have more than one option especially, think about it. Review all of your options. You have to. If I've got 3 or 4 or 5 options, you've got to think about it. And this just being a coach in my mind. If I've got an athlete that has offers to several different schools, I want him to review all of those options, him or her. I want them to think about every option that they have. They need to. They've earned that right. And 2, it's a beneficial thing for them to think every option through. Because some options are going to be better than others. And so if you don't review all of your options, you may just miss out on the best one. Next, evaluate outcomes in each option. Going back into the athlete being recruited. If there's a smaller school that wants this player to come in, and be an immediate impact, and that's something that that player wants, they want to be an immediate impact, then that may be the best option for them. If this athlete knows they have some growing to do and they truly believe they can be a special player, and they get an offer from somebody that thinks the same and thinks that they need to maybe take a year to really grow as a player and grow with a team, then that's what they need to do. But they need to really evaluate the outcomes of each option. Think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of the decision that you're possibly going to make and play it out. Evaluate your outcomes. Evaluate those outcomes in each option. Play it out. See what you think it might end up like. And just see what you kind of feel is comfortable, what you might be leaning towards. Next, you'll assess and choose the best option. You give it some thought, you review all your options, you evaluate the outcomes of each option, and then you can assess and choose the best option for maybe you or your family or your school, your team, your community, whatever it may be. Assess and choose the best option for you or whichever group that you are entailing. And then lastly, think it over afterwards. Now, this one doesn't really apply to the athlete being recruited because you really only get, most of the time, nowadays it's really up in the air. Normally I would say you only get recruited once, but that's kind of not the case anymore. And a lot of my basketball friends in this class will understand that. But think it over afterwards. Would you make the same decision next time? If you go out drinking with some friends or go to a party and you get drunk, you pass out, and you throw up all over yourself, and you get embarrassed because people took video and pictures of that, probably wouldn't make that decision again, I would think. Not the one to drink that much. You might have a drink, but you wouldn't make that decision again. If you decide to study for a test and you do really well on it, and then the next test you study again and you do really good on it, but the first few tests you didn't study and you didn't do that well, you're probably going to continue with that trend of making the decision to study for your tests. And so here, don't smoke. Don't use tobacco. It's bad for you, and we're about to get into that. This decision really doesn't need much thought, reviewing and evaluating and assessing. Don't do it. But this is something that's a life-altering thing, and so we're talking about the decision-making. And so now we get into the consequences of poor decisions regarding tobacco, which poor decisions regarding tobacco is smoking or using tobacco. Pretty simple. You increase your chances of cancer in all different types and forms and places in your body. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. COPD is not fun. It's a great way to decrease your quality of life for a very extended time. And it's very preventable. A lot of these things on this list that we're fixing to talk about are so very preventable, and it's kind of frustrating when people that don't have any choice, that can't prevent this kind of stuff that's going to happen to them, they don't have a choice, and then a lot of us, we do have the choice. We have the choice now. So why don't we make good decisions now, and not so much for ourselves, yes, but also in respect of some of those people that don't have a choice, that it's like it's a tragedy, because every time we light up a cigarette, we're basically saying we don't care if we get cancer. We don't care if we have increased chances of heart disease, higher risk of stroke, gum disease, or type 2 diabetes. We don't care. We just like smoking the tobacco. It's fun. It's cool. but there's plenty of people that didn't ask for it. Every time we light up and we start spitting our chew and stuff like that, we're just asking for it. But there's plenty of people in this world that haven't asked for any of these things on this list. So in my eyes, it's just kind of a respect thing for us to make the right decision, because they don't even get a decision. Don't know if you guys knew this or not, but tobacco smokers are 22 times more likely to develop lung cancer in their lives compared to non-smokers. We have the option. Some people don't. Guys, it's very easy. Just don't do it. It's pretty easy. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment on the video. I will always answer those questions as they come up. I have my notifications set on my phone, so I'll get them right away as soon as you post them. And then if you have any other like statistics that you may want to know, any kind of like preventative programs maybe, these sources here can help you out with that. But before we end the video, I do want to kind of give you guys an insight as to our decisions making worksheet. Here's your scenario, and then here are your 5 components of the great decision making model. These are the questions that you will answer, and these are the 5 components of the decision making process, the great decision making model. So use these 5 questions, these 5 components, to assess this scenario. And then once you're completed with that, the lesson is completed. And I believe Clay will have us a little activity for us to do, a little project for us to do as we will be wrapping up the lesson. It's been a very nice time enjoying you guys' presence, even though we're not in the class face to face. I can honestly see every single one of you in my living room right now listening to this video. I miss you guys. Wish we were in the classroom. It's unfortunate what's been going on. But in all honesty, this is a perfect decision-making process for what we have going on right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, and so this is something that I kind of thought would be good for the now as well. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint. Here are my sources again, and I want to thank you guys for watching.